are honored to welcome Carolina Niram, a distinguished certified coach, trainer, speaker, and educator. Carolina is an Amazon best-selling co-author and the creator of a successful YouTube channel where she shares impactful insights and transformation and leadership. Carolina has spoken on prominent stages, including Sysco, including national conferences and leadership summits, earning recognition for her ability to inspire and empower diverse audiences. Through her work, Carolina helps women rebuild confidence, rediscover their purpose, and embrace lives with fulfillment and joy, because that's what it's about, right? Her influence extends globally through Rewire Leadership Academy in Ghana, where she mentors and supports emerging leaders. Sysco ladies, please join me in welcoming the remarkable and empowering Carolina Niram.
Good morning, Sysco woman. Thank you so much, Delia. That was a beautiful intro.
There you go.
Good morning, everyone. How are you doing this morning? I am super excited to be in such a beautiful room with you all today. It is so nice that you're so well treated and that they take the moment to recognize you in this International Women's Day. I am super excited to be here. Thank you for having me. It is an honor and a privilege to serve you today. I want to thank you, Lucy, who made this happen right there. And before I start with anything, I want to acknowledge what it takes to be in a room like this. Sysco is a high-performance environment. Fast decisions, real impact, real pressure. And I know that you don't just clock into a job. You carry outcomes. Some of you lead teams. Some of you oversee high complex level operations, even maybe when nobody sees the effort. Some of you carry households, caregiving, full-time role. It's a lot. And you have learned to smile through exhaustion. Some of you get up early. You travel. You manage team, manage customers, manage operations, and you still manage to hold it all together. An applause for you all today. And some of you might be in a season where everything might look good on the outside, but on the inside, you're asking yourself these questions. Is this still me? Why do I have to keep performing when everything on the outside is falling apart? Why everything seems to be the same when I'm doing everything right? And if that's you today, I want you to know that you're not behind, that you're not broken. You are in what I called the messy middle. We're going to talk about the messy middle today. And it's that gap between what was and what's next. Today isn't about motivation. It is about reinvention. How to turn adversity and pressure into resilience and purpose. How's excited to hear more about this? Woohoo! You guys deserve it all. It was past midnight 2023, and I was laying awake on my childhood bedroom in my parents' house in Madrid. That's where I'm from. And I couldn't sleep. The glow of my phone would light up family pictures. Those old pictures where everything seems simpler. And I couldn't sleep. Something felt off inside of me. However, I was supposed to be excited because my husband and I were under contract on a property that 5-bedroom, upgraded home where we were going to start our family. And it was supposed to be good. Life was moving forward. However, I couldn't sleep, and I was awake. And I pressed play on a Christian meditation, and the Lord gave me this word. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Don't you perceive it? I am making a way in the desert and rivers in the wasteland. Isaiah 43:19. At that moment, that word felt comfortable. It was exciting. It was Christmas. A new year was about to start. A new chapter in my life, new season. However, a month later, everything came crashing down. And my 10-year marriage relationship was about to end. That word, divorce, that I feared so much, became real. And suddenly, I felt back in that same old room, looking at those family pictures. However, those pictures didn't feel comfortable anymore. They felt like evidence. Evidence that I was about to start the most difficult season of my life. And at that moment, to add a little humor to this, I will say that I like working solutions. I'm a problem solver. Who's problem solvers here? Yes? I like the checklist. I like the reading the books, the step-by-step. So at that difficult time, I did it all. I went to therapy. I read the books, went to divorce care, did the step-by-step. And when I felt that I was getting up on my feet and moving forward again, another wave of grief would come and hit me. And I'm like, oh. It felt like I was trying to complete a puzzle and someone was continuing to change the picture on the box. It was hard. So at that moment, I realized of something. The messy middle. We're gonna talk about the messy middle a lot today. Imagine going to the movies and watch this iconic movie, Titanic, where Jack and Rose are falling in love and all the adventures around the big boat. And then all of a sudden, the movie takes you to this part where they're almost dying. And you're like, what is this? Where's the middle? Like, how did we go from one part to the other? Would you go and pay to watch a movie like that? Probably not. Are there any Lord of the Rings fans in the room? You like Lord of the Rings? It was one of my favorite movies growing up. Same thing, imagine going to the movies and you see Gandalf giving all the instructions on this difficult journey that Frodo is about to embark. And then all of a sudden the movie takes you to the end where Frodo is about to destroy the ring. We wouldn't pay to the movies to go and watch a movie like that. So what I learned is that in movies is where, in the messy middle, is where the hero becomes the hero. It's in that plot, in that middle part, where the main character solves the problems, and there's another characters that come to the rescue, and all the plot is happening. So in the movies, we want to watch the messy middle. But when it comes to our own lives, we want to skip it. Because it's difficult, it's painful, it's hard. But ladies, it is in that messy middle where all growth happens. It's in that messy middle where resilience is formed, where our purpose gets clarified, where growth happens. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
So let's not skip the messy middle. I'm here today to inspire you to embrace the difficulty, to embrace the challenge. Because, see, at that moment I realized that the messy middle came to my life in my divorce to get me stronger, to get me to a higher level. And when that happened, I understood, and this is what I didn't know back then, and what most high-performance women don't realize, that the messy middle not only creates stress, it also creates an identity crisis. See, because when you lose that thing, when there's a shift in your life, whether it is in your health, in your relationships, in your identity, in your sense of safety, when there is a shift, you not only lose that thing, you lose the version of yourself that was built around that thing. So to me, I did not only lose my husband, I lost the version of myself, my identity, that was created around my husband. And in corporate life, this might look like tying your worth to performance and metrics, feeling invisible when you're carrying everything, being the reliable one until you're quietly burnt out, surviving reorganizations, leadership changes, pressure, uncertainty, showing up strong at work, while privately you're falling apart. And it is difficult. So what do? I want you to really understand the problem that it is to be stuck in the messy middle. Because when we are stuck in the messy middle, in that adversity, the problem is not really like, my problem was not just the divorce. It was that I stood stuck in the divorce. And that has a cost, not only emotional, but also practical. When we are stuck in the messy middle, we lose our identity, confidence, energy, creativity, and we also lost the ability to lead from our best place. So the cost of it, I'm going to show you real numbers here of what is the cost of being stuck in the messy middle. According to the American Psychology Association, the cost of staying stuck in the messy middle is a 42% less productivity and effectiveness. People who remain stuck after adversity reduce almost half of their ability to perform. In terms of numbers, in around a $60,000 annual income, it can become a loss of $23,000 in lost opportunities each year, because we're stuck, we're in pain. We are surviving. And when we go through a period of adversity and difficulty in our lives, it can last about 18 to 24 months. And that equals to 540 to 730 days of living with less joy, less creativity, and less connection. And the cost is not only emotional, not only monetary, is that you're operating at 0.5% of your ability, of your potential. And you're lost in transition, finding who you're becoming next. So during that time that happened to me, like Claudia, I believe it's Claudia, please forgive me. I met several people today. the person who introduced me said, I am a leadership coach with the John Maxwell team. You like John Maxwell?
Yes.
He's great. He's written over 100 books in leadership, personal growth. Great. So I'm part of his team. And in 2017, I became a coach. I was coaching executive women like yourselves and doing trainings on DISC, conferences. So that was my training. But when this happened to me, I'm like, God, what do I do with all this pain? Like, I'm a producer. I have to do something with it. So I created a program that's called Heal, Grow, and Thrive. And I tried to make sense and try to help other women that might be stuck in that messy middle. So it's all about healing, growing, and thriving in an environment that might be challenging for us at that time. So this is what my program is about. But today, I want to give you 2 reinvention anchors. And the first one is resilience. We're going to talk and share about resilience, how to stop enduring and start rebuilding. And the second is purpose, how to lead your life and career from meaning, not just momentum. See, because when adversity comes, and if it hasn't come, guys, we live in a world that has, we're gonna face problems. So if it has happened to you, you might relate. If you're going through it, you're definitely gonna relate. And if ever happens, you have an opportunity to maybe remember that lady that spoke in that conference at Sysco about resilience and purpose. So, high in the mountains comes the eagle. It's one of my favorite animals. I think it's majestic, the eagle. And the eagle, there's a point in its life that it has to face a difficult choice. See, because the eagle, at some point, what worked no longer works. The beak is overgrown, talons dull, the feathers feel heavy. So there's a point that the eagle has to face a painful choice. It either goes through this painful renewal where she breaks its beak and removes all the feathers, or waits to lose its ability to fly and decays and dies. So my point with this story is that we all have a choice whether to stay stuck in that messy middle. And I'm not saying do not, reinvention and what I'm going to be sharing today doesn't mean that we're going to eliminate the past, pretend that it didn't hurt, pretend that it's not there. It's not about that. We acknowledge it. But we're carrying our future with wisdom and with strength. And that's our choice. Because guess what? Nobody else is going to do it for us. Nobody else was going to do it for me while I was in depression for months. And I had to face that choice that the eagle faces. And if I'm bringing it to you ladies at Sysco, and I'm bringing it to the corporate environment, I'm sure maybe you've heard about Marshall Goldsmith, what got you here won't get you there. It is same thing. The same thing. What got you here, the over-functioning, overworking, the saying yes to everything, the carrying the emotional load, being the fixer. What worked, it's going to start costing you. And see, in companies like Sysco, competence can become a cage because people around you start to notice that you can do everything, that they can lean on you. So there is a moment that we need to evaluate where we're operating from and where we need to start making decisions that are accordingly. So today I want to give you with a practical exercise. And this is easy, guys, because it is about being intentional. You can all do this. See, when we are intentional about something, when we put our energy to something and our focus to something, there is a part of our brain that's called the reticular system. When you see you buy a red car and you see that same model everywhere, those cars were still there. It's just that you're now noticing. So you can totally do this. You can pair up with someone today, keep each other accountable, put notes on your phone, carry a journal, and to be successful at becoming stronger, becoming more resilient, let's do this exercise. Each day, break, like the eagle, one thing that doesn't serve you and build one thing that does. And what does that look like in our regular lives? Okay, break one pattern that drains you. And that could be the people-pleasing yes, the self-criticism, the I'll rest when story, the habit of carrying it all alone. Break one habit daily, be intentional about it, and build something that will help you. And what does that look like every day? Build one boundary, one honest conversation, one request for support, one new skill, 1 minute reset ritual. And guess what? When you start practicing this, you're going to show up better for your teams. You're going to show up better for the person that you report to. And you're going to show up better for the team that you lead. So that is the first anchor of reinvention that I wanted to share. Resilience keeps you from collapsing, and purpose keeps you from living in automatic pilot. Now, when we hear the word purpose, discover your purpose, live on purpose, that sounds very mystical, doesn't it? Like, okay, and what is it to find my purpose? Well, let me tell you a story. I was driving on I-95, that's where I live, close to West Palm Beach. Hands on the wheel, mind wavering somewhere. And the Lord gave me another word while I was in this messy middle of starting the process of papers for my divorce. God said, okay, you wanted to move into this new home and start the family, and those are the plans that you had. But that's not your destiny. That's not what I have for you. And then another word from Proverbs, the book of Proverbs 19:21 came to me that says that a man's heart plans, we plan, but the Lord, makes our steps, order our steps. Like we can plan all we want, but in the end, life happens. And planning is great, don't get me wrong. We should all plan. That is a very successful, skill that we should all have. And I know that you're planners, otherwise you wouldn't be sitting on a chair in a room like this. However, I learned that purpose is not something that you decide, but something that you discover. And here in a company like Sysco, that doesn't mean that we have to, start a new life completely, figuring our purpose. Like kind of Julia Roberts in Eat, Love, and Pray. We don't have to go to India to find our purpose. Well, some of you might, I don't know. But we don't have to make a total change in our lives to discover our purpose. It might look like leading differently, mentoring someone. It might look like owning your own voice, operating from identity that respects your values, creating those boundaries, that's what really purpose is about. And you know, the more that you start working on yourself and looking inside of you, you're going to get it. I want to show you what I called a purpose discovery matrix. And this is encompassed by your passions, what energizes you, your skills, what are you good at, and your values. What are you standing for? What are you not going to betray? Your values. Actually, an exercise for values, guys, super necessary. If I ask you, what are your top 5 values? We should know them. We should know them. And you know what you can do? When you get home, get a list of 20 values, all right? Or, you can just write them down, ask chat, Google, and from those 20 values, remove 10 and get 10 that are very important to you. And from those 10, get 5. And there you have your 5 values. And those values you're not willing to compromise. That's a good exercise. And you can also do it with your families, with your children, so that when we need to make decisions, we're not randomly making decisions, but they have a foundation. We know what we're doing. So normally this is what it is for the discovery purpose. So you would write your values here. You would write down your passions. Again, what energizes you? What do you love doing? And then the skills. And what's in the middle is significance. What does significance mean? I really believe, guys, ladies, sorry, that we are here for the service of others. That whatever we do, because think about it, if you just stay with your passion, skills, and values, it's all about you. It's all about you. I believe that we're here to make a difference in the lives of those around us. That doesn't mean that we have to become a social media influencer and have millions of followers. Listen, we all lead and make a difference. If you think that you're too small to lead, think about a mosquito. Have you ever spent a night with a mosquito that has not let you sleep? Oh my goodness. So we all make a difference in the people around us. And that's the significance part. Passions, values, skills, plus significance. What can I do? How can I inspire, add value to others? I like to say of myself that I am, and I got this from John Maxwell, credits to him, I am a person of value who likes to add value to others. So that's our purpose. See, in my life, after my divorce, what energized me, what was valuable to me, and the skills that I have, thank you, Jesus, for that, was to inspire other women. And I'm so thankful that I have the opportunity, thank you, Lucy, again, to be here today. And I hope that something of what I said resonated with you to make some changes that can help you in your life. And if this resonated with you, this is a QR code that you can scan and you can connect with me. Whether it is for a one-on-one conversation, anything that you're going through, whether it is for a workshop in the company, if your teams are facing challenges, they're going through a reinvention process or anything, I'm here for you. I love to serve, I love to help, and I love to add value to others. Here's how you can connect with me on social media as well, Instagram and the YouTube channel. And before I close, I want to leave you with this. This is a beautiful oak tree And I remember watching it. I was in the Carolinas, I think it was, I don't remember where I was, to be honest with you. But I remember there was a storm, and I was listening, and I was looking at this oak tree. And it was a big storm, it was raining, and it was windy. And this oak tree remained rooted. It didn't break, despite of the high winds, and we can see that. So I learned and thought that strength is not only about stiffness. Strength is about the ability to bend. We're not going to be able to stop the things that have happened or that will happen in our lives. But like the eagle, we have the opportunity to either leave that event numb ourselves or build resilience on purpose. And to me, when it happened, it was definitely a season of challenge, and grieving is necessary. We have to go through it. We have to experience the pain. We cannot just start our works, like, take refuge in our job or numb ourselves with shopping or other substances. We need to face the pain, and I knew I had to. But we can either choose to stay in that season or use it as a catalyst to become a better, stronger version of ourselves. Thank you so much for having me today.